Hello, and welcome again to 2012 production of the Vagina Monologues. Woo! Yeah! That's exciting!
We put on this play to encourage all people to shave off any shame or stigma associated with vaginas. So, without further ado,
I'm Alicia.
I'm Emma.
And we're your MCs tonight. Yeah.
Our job is to guide you through this new adventure.
And we promise we're going to be gentle about it, yeah.
So, now for a little foreplay. How many feminists does it take to screw in a light bulb?
I don't know how many.
It's not the light bulb that needs to change, it's the patriarchy.
Super excited for tonight. How about yours?
Dripping with anticipation.
I think that's a little too much.
Yeah, it's kind of intimate.
Okay. Alright, well, moving on. Some of the monologues are based on one woman's story. Some of the monologues are based on several women's stories surrounding the same theme, and a few times, a good idea became an outrageous one. This monologue is based on one woman's story, although the subject came up in every interview and was often fraught. The subject being... hair. You cannot love a vagina unless you love hair. Many people do not love hair. My first and only husband hated hair. He said it was cluttered and dirty. He made me shave my vagina. It looked puffy, exposed, and like a little girl. This excited him. When he made love to me, my vagina felt the way a beard must feel. It felt good to rub and painful, like scratching a mosquito bite. It felt like it was on fire. There were screaming red bumps. I refused to shave it again. Then, my husband had an affair. When we went to marital therapy, he said he screwed around because I wouldn't please him sexually. I wouldn't shave my vagina. The therapist had a German accent and gasped between sentences to show her empathy. She asked me if I didn't want to please my husband. I told her I thought it was weird. I felt little when my hair was gone down there, and I couldn't help talking in a baby voice, and the skin got irritated, and even calamine lotion wouldn't help. She told me marriage was a compromise. I asked her if shaving my vagina would stop him from screwing around. I asked her if she had many cases like this before. She told me questions diluted the process. I needed to jump in. She was sure it was a good beginning. This time, when we got home, he got to shave my vagina. It was like a therapy bonus prize. He clipped it a few times. There was a little blood in the bathtub. He didn't even notice it because he was so happy shaving me. Then, later, when my husband was pressing against me, I could feel his spiky sharpness sticking into me, my naked, puffy vagina. There was no protection. There was no fluff. I realized then that hair is there for a reason. It's the leaf around the flower. It's the lawn around the house. You have to love hair in order to love the vagina. You can't pick the parts you want. Besides, my husband never stopped screwing around.
All of the women were asked the following questions. If your vagina could get dressed, what would it wear? Glasses, a beret, a leather jacket, silk stockings, mink, a pink boa, a male tuxedo, jeans, something form-fitting, emeralds, an evening gown with little sequins, Armani only, a tutu, see-through black underwear, a taffeta ball gown,
Something machine washable. Costume eye mask.
purple velvet pajamas,
Angora. A red bow.
ermine and pearls, a leopard hat, a silk kimono, sweatpants, a tattoo,
An electrical shock device to keep unwanted strangers away.
high heels, lace, and combat boots,
Purple feathers, twigs, and shells.
cotton, a pinafore, a bikini, a slicker,
If your vagina could talk, what would it say?
2 words.
slow down. Is that you?
Feed me. I want yum, yum. Oh, yeah.
Start again. No, over there. Lick me. Stay home. Brave choice. Think again. More, please. Embrace me. Let's play.
Don't stop. More, more. Remember me?
Come inside.
Not yet.
Whoa, mama. Yes, yes. Rock me. Enter at your own risk. Oh, God. Thank God. I'm here. Let's go. Let's go. Find me. Thank you. Bonjour. Too hard. Don't give up. Where's Brian?
That's better.
There.
A group of women between the ages of 65 and 75 was interviewed. These interviews were the most poignant, possibly because many of these women had never had a vagina interview before. One woman, who was 72, had never even seen her vagina. She washed herself in the shower and bath, but never with conscious intention. She had never had an orgasm. At 72, she went into therapy, as they do in New York, and with the help of her therapist, she went home one afternoon by herself, lit some candles, took a bath, played some music, and she got down with herself. She said it took her over an hour because she was arthritic, but when she finally found her clitoris, she said she cried. This monologue is for her.
Down there? I haven't been down there since 1953. No, it had nothing to do with Eisenhower. No, it's a cellar door down there. Very damp, clammy. You don't want to go down there. Trust me, you'll get sick. Suffocating, very nauseating. The smell of the clamminess and the mildew and everything, gets in your clothes. Smells unbearable. No, there was no accident down there. It didn't blow up, catch fire or anything. It wasn't so dramatic. I mean, well, never mind. No, never mind. I can't talk to you about this. What's a smart girl like you going around talking to old ladies about the down there's for? We didn't do this kind of thing when I was a girl. What? Jesus, okay. There was this boy. Andy Lefkoff. He was cute? Well, I thought so. And tall like me. And I really liked him. He asked me out for a date in his car. I can't tell you this. Talk about down there. You know it's there. Like the cellar. There's rumbles down there sometimes. You can hear the pipes and things get caught up there. You know, like little animals and things. And it gets wet. And sometimes you gotta plug up the leaks. Otherwise, the door stays closed. I mean, it's part of the house, but you don't see it or think about it. Has to be there, though, because every house needs a cellar. Otherwise, the bedroom would be in the basement. Oh, Andy. Andy Lefkoff, right. Andy was very good looking. He was a catch. That's what we called it in my day. We were in his car, a new white Chevy Bel Air. I remember my legs were too long for the seat. I have long legs. They were smushed up against the dashboard, and I was looking at my big kneecaps when he just kissed me in this surprisingly take-me-by-control like they do in the movies kind of way. And I got excited, so excited, and well, there was a flood down there. I couldn't control it. It was like this force of passion, this river of life just flooded out of me. Right through my panties, right under the car seat of his new white Chevy Bel Air. It wasn't pee, and it was smelly. Well, frankly, I didn't really smell anything at all, but Andy said that it smelled like sour milk, and it was staining his car seat. I was a stinky weird girl. I wanted to explain that his kiss had caught me off guard, that I wasn't normally like this. I tried to wipe the blood off my dress. It was a new yellow primrose dress, and it looked so ugly with the blood on it. Andy drove me home without saying another word, and when I got out and closed his door, I closed the whole store, locked it, never opened for business again. I dated some after, but the idea of flooding made me too nervous. I never even got close again. But, I used to have these dreams. Crazy dreams. Oh, they're dopey. Why? Burt Reynolds. I don't know why he never did much for me in life, but in my dreams, it was always Burt and I, Burt and I, Burt and I. It was always the same general dream. We'd be out, Burt and I. It was some restaurant, like the kind you see in Atlantic City, all big with the chandeliers and stuff, and thousands of waiters with the vests. Bud would give me his orca corsage. I'd pin it on my blazer. We'd laugh. We were always laughing, Bud and I. Laughing. We'd eat shrimp cocktail. Huge shrimp. Fabulous shrimp. We'd laugh more. We were very happy together. Then he'd look me into my eyes and pull me to him in the middle of the restaurant, and just as he was about to kiss me, the whole restaurant would start to shake. Pigeons would fly out from under the table. I don't know what those pigeons were doing there. And the flood would come straight from down there. It would pour at me. It would pour and pour. There would be fish inside it, and little boats. And the whole restaurant would fill with my flood. And Bert would be standing waist deep in it, looking horribly disappointed in me that I'd done it again. Horrified as he watched his friends, Dean Martin and the like, swim past us in their tuxedos and their big gowns. But I don't have those dreams anymore. Not since they took away just about everything connected with down there. Moved out the uterus, the tubes, the whole works. Doctor thought he was being funny. He told me, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. But really, I found out it was cancer. Everything around it had to go. Who needs it anyways? Highly overrated. I've done other things. I love the dog shows. Sell antiques. You asked me what it would wear? What kind of question is that? What would it wear? It would wear a big sign, closed due to flooding. What would it say? I told you. It's not like that. It's not like a person who speaks. Stop being a thing that talked a long time ago. It's a place. A place you don't go. It's closed up, under the house. It's down there. You happy? You made me talk. You got it out. You got an old lady to talk about it down there. You feel better now? Yeah. You know, actually, you're the first person I've ever talked about this. And I feel a little better.
My vagina is a shell, a round, pink, tender shell, opening and closing, closing and opening. My vagina is a flower, an eccentric tulip, the center acute and deep, the scent delicate, the petals gentle but sturdy. I did not always know this. I learned this in the Vagina workshop. I learned this from a woman who runs the Vagina workshop, a woman who really believes in vaginas, a woman who sees vaginas, and who helps other women see their own vaginas by, well, seeing other women's vaginas. In the first session, the woman who ran the workshop asked us all to draw a picture of our own unique, beautiful, fabulous vagina. That's what she called it. She wanted to know what our own unique, beautiful, fabulous vagina looked like to us. One woman who was pregnant drew a big red screaming mouth with coins spilling out. Another rather skinny woman drew a kind of large serving plate with a Devonshire pattern on it. I drew a huge black dot with little squiggly lines around it. The black dot was meant to be a black hole in space, and the squiggly lines equal to people or things or just your basic atoms that got lost up there. I had always thought of my vagina as a sort of anatomical vacuum, randomly sucking up particles and objects from the surrounding environment. I did not think of my vagina in practical or biological terms. I certainly did not see it as something attached to me. In the workshop, we were asked to look at our vaginas with hand mirrors. Then, after careful examination, we were to verbally report to the group what we saw. I must tell you that up until this point, everything I knew about my vagina was based on hearsay or invention. I had never really looked at the thing. It certainly never occurred to me to look at it. It seems my vagina existed for me on some abstract plane. It seems so reductive and awkward looking at it like we were in the workshop on our shiny blue mats with our hand mirrors. It reminded me of how the early astronomers must have felt with their primitive telescopes. I found it quite unsettling at first, my vagina. Like the first time you see a fish cut open and you discover this whole bloody complex world inside, right under the skin. It was so raw, so red, so fresh. But the thing that surprised me the most was all the layers. Layers inside layers, opening into more layers. My vagina amazed me. Oh, when it came my turn in the workshop, I couldn't speak. I was in fact speechless. I had awakened to what the woman who ran the workshop called vaginal wonder. I just wanted to lay there on my mat, legs spread, examining my vagina forever. It was better than the Grand Canyon, ancient and full of grace, and had the freshness and properness of an English garden. And it was funny, very funny. Made me laugh the way it could hide and seek, open and close. Then the woman who ran the workshop asked us how many women in the workshop had orgasms. 2 women tentatively raised their hands. I didn't raise my hand, but I had orgasms. I didn't raise my hand because although I had orgasms, they were accidental orgasms. They happened to me. They happened to me in my dreams, and I would awake in splendor. Oh, they happened a lot in water, mostly in the bath, once in Cape Cod. They happened on horses, on bicycles, sometimes on the treadmill at the gym. Oh, but I did not raise my hand because I did not know how to make one happen. I thought it was a mystical, magical thing. I didn't want to interfere. It felt wrong getting involved, contrived, manipulative. It felt, well, Hollywood. Oh, the surprise would be gone and the mystery. And the problem, of course, was that the surprise had been gone for 2 years. I have had a magical accidental orgasm in a long, long time, and I was becoming frantic. That's why I was in the vagina workshop. And then the moment came that I both dreaded and longed for. The woman who ran the workshop asked us to take out our hand mirrors again and to see if we could locate our clitoris. We were there, the group of us women, on our backs, on our mats, searching for our spots, our locus, our reason. And I don't know why, but I started crying. Maybe it was sheer embarrassment. Maybe it was knowing that I had to give up the fantasy, the enormous life-consuming fantasy that someone or something was coming to do this for me. Someone was coming to lead my life, to choose direction, to give me orgasms. Oh, I could feel the panic coming, the simultaneous terror and realization that I had avoided finding my clitoris, had rationalized it as mainstream and consumerist because I was, in fact, terrified that I did not have a clitoris. Terrified that I was one of those constitutionally incapables, one of those frigid, dead, shut-down, dry, bitter, apricot-tasting, oh my God! Oh, I lay there with my mirror, searching, reaching with my fingers, and all I could think about was the time when I was 10 and I lost my gold ring with the emeralds in the lake. Oh, how I kept diving over and over to the bottom of the lake, running my hands over rocks and fish and bottle caps and slimy stuff, but never my ring. The panic I felt, I knew I'd be punished. The woman who ran the workshop saw my insane sweating, scrambling, heavy breathing. She came over and told her, "It's gone! It's gone! I've lost my clitoris! I knew I shouldn't have worn it swimming!" The woman who ran the workshop laughed. She calmly stroked my forehead and she told me my clitoris was not something I could lose. It was me, she said, the essence of me. It was both the doorbell to my house and the house itself. I didn't have to find it. I had to be it. Be it. Be my clitoris. Be my clitoris. I lay back and closed my eyes. I put the mirror down and I saw myself floating above myself. And I watched as I slowly began to approach myself and re-enter. I felt like an astronaut re-entering the surface of the earth. And it was very quiet, this re-entry, quiet and gentle. I bounced and landed and bounced. And then I came into my own muscles and blood and cells. And then I slid into my vagina. It was suddenly easy and I fit. And I was all warm and pulsing and young and ready and alive. And then without looking, with my eyes still closed, I put my finger on what would urge me to stay. Then the quivering became a quake, an eruption, the layers dividing and subdividing. The quaking broke open to an ancient horizon of light. And silence, which opened into a plane of music and colors and connection and longing. That I felt connection, calling connection as I lay there thrashing about on my little blue mat. My vagina is a shell, a tulip and a destiny. I am beginning as I am beginning to leave. My vagina, me. Woo!
Here is a vagina happy fact. This is from Woman in Intimate Geography by Natalie Ange.
Who wants a vagina happy fact? The clitoris is pure in purpose. It is the only organ in the body designed purely for pleasure. That's right. The clitoris is simply a bundle of nerves. 8,000 nerve fibers to be precise. That's a higher concentration of nerve fibers found anywhere else in the male or female body, including the fingertips, the lips, the tongue, and that is twice. C-W-I-C-E, twice the number in the penis. Who needs a handgun when you have a semi-automatic?
Quite the happy fact.
This monologue was based on an interview with a woman who had a good experience with a man.
This is how I came to love my vagina. It's embarrassing because it's not politically correct. I mean, I know it should have happened in a bath with salt grains from the Dead Sea, Enya playing, me loving my woman self. I know the story. Vaginas are beautiful. Our self-hatred is only the internalized repression and hatred of the patriarchal culture. It isn't real. Pussies unite. I know all of it. Like, if we'd grown up in a culture where we were taught fat thighs are beautiful, we'd all be pounding down milkshakes and Krispy Kremes, lying on our backs, spending our days thigh expanding. But we didn't grow up in that culture. I hated my thighs, and I hated my vagina even more. I was one of those women who had looked at it, and from that moment on, wished I hadn't. It made me sick. I pitied anyone who had to go down there. In order to survive, I began to pretend there was something else between my legs. I imagined furniture, cozy futons with light cotton comforters, little velvet settees, leopard rugs, or pretty things, silk handkerchiefs, quilted pot holders, or place settings. I got so accustomed to this that I lost all memory of having a vagina. Whenever a man was inside me, I pictured him inside a mink-lined muffler or a Chinese bowl. Then I met Bob. Bob was the most ordinary man I ever met. He was thin and tall and nondescript. and wore khaki tan clothes. Bob did not like spicy food or listen to Prince. He had no interest in sexy lingerie. Yeah. In the summer, he spent time in the shade. He did not share his inner feelings. He did not have any problems or issues, and was not even an alcoholic. He wasn't very funny or articulate or mysterious. He wasn't mean or unavailable. He wasn't self-involved or charismatic. He didn't drive fast. I didn't particularly like Bob. I would have missed him altogether if he hadn't picked up my change when I dropped it on the deli floor. When he handed me back my quarters and pennies, and his hand accidentally touched mine, something happened. I went to bed with him. That's when the miracle occurred. Turned out, Bob loved vaginas. He was a connoisseur. He loved the way they felt, the way they tasted, the way they smelled, but most importantly, he loved the way they looked. He had to look at them. The first time we had sex, he told me he had to see me. I'm right here, I said. No, you, he said. I have to see you. Turn on the light? I said, thinking he was a weirdo and freaking out in the dark. He turned on the light. Then he said, okay, I'm ready. Ready to see you. Right here, I waved. I'm right here. Then he began to undress me. What are you doing, Bob? I need to see you, he replied. No need, I said. Just do it. I need to see what you look like, he said. But you've seen a red leather couch before, I said. Bob continued. He would not stop. I wanted to throw up and die. This is awfully intimate, I said. Can't you just do it? No, he said. It's who you are. I need to look. I held my breath. He looked and looked. He got breathy, and his face changed. He didn't look ordinary anymore. He looked like a hungry beast. You're so beautiful, he said. You're elegant and deep and innocent and wild. You saw that there? I said. It was like he read my palm. I saw that, he said, and more. Much, much more. He stayed looking for almost an hour, as if he were studying a map, observing the moon, staring into my eyes. But it was my vagina. In the light, I watched him looking at me, and he was so genuinely excited, so peaceful and euphoric. I began to get wet and turned on. I began to see myself the way he saw me. I began to feel beautiful and delicious, like a great painting or a waterfall.